This is not a financial analysis or even really an opinion. It's just my gut reaction to a Tesla advertisement. That said, let's talk about the robo-taxi event. Elon said there's a 20% chance of a sentient AI takeover.
Provided we address risks of digital superintelligence, 80% probability of a good outcome. Look on the bright side. The cup is 80% full.
That wasn't cool. The video shows his RoboCab being cleaned by autonomous robots, but doesn't explain it. He mentions wireless inductive charging, but no demonstration.
Something we're also doing is, and it's really high time we did this, is inductive charging.
I mean, robots dancing, but you don't show us the charging. You know these RoboCabs are only going to work in 2 states, probably ever.
With permission in wherever regulators essentially approve it in the U.S. and then to follow in outside the U.S.
Point being, I'm really skeptical on the inductive charging. If they had a product, it would be for sale on the website right now, and it would be sold out no matter how many they could build. The lack of that means there's no such thing. It's like the first Tesla bot. It's a dancing human, kind of on that wavelength with the whole inductive charging thing. And then there's the RoboCab business model. We buy the vehicles and maintain them.
So yes, and you will be able to buy one.
Elon sets the price of a ride.
And price, including taxes and everything else, probably ends up being 30 or 40 cents a mile.
And we can't drive it. There's no steering wheel. So you cannot drive. So raining, dark out, can't drive. Once again, we can't own them unless we live in Texas or California. And in the event we can own them, they're also going to become personal Tesla servers that we probably get no compensation for, just AI compute for Elon himself.
If the car's driving for 50 hours a week, there's still over 100 hours left, and there's a potential there to have a massive amount of distributed inference compute, where if you've got, like, say, a fleet of 100 million vehicles and a kilowatt of efficient inference compute, you have 100 gigawatts of compute, which is really quite substantial. If it's there, you might as well use it. So
that's worth billions, if not trillions of dollars.
Yeah, so that I think will make sense.
But no mention of compensation. And if there was going to be compensation, you would mention that. This is an ad, after all. And then there's the van. I say, scrap the RoboCab and just make the van, except give it or sell it to municipalities, which definitely is not happening here. This is the Walmart and Uber strategy where you go in, you undercut them in price, you eliminate the competition completely when they can't fund it anymore because there's absolutely no money coming in, and then you jack up the price by 10x the minute they move out. Public transit by bus is really fragile in the US. Elon mentioned it himself. It's all subsidized, right? Because it doesn't exist unless it gets subsidized. So what are you going to do? Eliminate the buses? I'm sure that's the plan. And how do you keep the bus clean? Show me those white seats after a week of robo-vanning. The robo-van. Man, how do you turn robo-van cringe? Well, I mean, he figured it out before we even knew what it was. So
the RoboVan. The RoboVan is, we're going to make this, and it's going to look like that. Now, can you imagine going down the streets and you see this coming towards you?
And right here, I'll just stop and say I've owned a Model Y. It was the best vehicle I've ever owned. The best. I drove it 30,000 miles. It did not have one issue at all. Literally, absolutely nothing. I loved my Model Y. So I have absolutely nothing but good things to say about Tesla the car. In fact, my wife drives a Model 3, not her first. This is her second Model 3, and the reason we upgraded is because the dual motor was like $30 a month more than our single motor that we used to have. So thank you for 1.9% financing, Tesla. It's just that this stuff is an ad, and I don't like where it's going. We haven't even talked about insurance.
Let's not get nuanced here.
How much do you suppose insurance will be on a RoboCab?
All right, next slide.
First of all, Tesla will be the only company offering it, so it's not going to be in any states that insurance is not available because they can't even get the insurance in there, let alone the RoboCab. And then there's this whole point of it's going to be cheap to ride. I don't know what his exact number was, but he's definitely boasting like 50 cents or less per mile. So what, I can travel all of Manhattan for $8? 50 cents a mile. Sticking with $8, you, the customer, pays $8 to ride. Elon and Tesla collect $7.49 of that for connectivity and insurance, you end up with 50 cents and you have to clean it, which is going to take thousands of hours of labor. Plus, you'll never make any extra because who tips a robot? So you know you're not going to make any money on this in a perfect world where you don't have to pay for accidents and maintenance and brakes and all this other stuff. I'm sure it's limited maintenance compared to driving a gas car, but still, you're going to have to pay to maintain it, whether you pay somebody to clean it or you pay for the tires or you pay for the accidents, because you can't prevent vehicles from getting in accidents. You can't do it. And also, people are going to abuse these cars. No one is in there to supervise them. You're going to have to pay to fix all that stuff too. It does help me completely understand Elon's political shift though, because everything has to be deregulated for this to work. For this to be good for the rider, it has to financially abuse the owner. For it to be profitable for the owner, it's going to become Southwest Airlines plus I didn't clean my Airbnb. Every bag is extra. Everything you load is extra. If you puke or sneeze or whatever, drop some Fruit Loops, that's going to be extra. You just get a bill later. And all you have to do to get it to launch is cut your profit in half for the first however long it takes to eliminate Uber. And as soon as that goes away, well, there you go. Now you double the price or triple the price or whatever you changed it from to get up to that $7.49 out of every $8. Once you've eliminated the competition, who cares? You can stiff the rider every time they drop a Fruit Loop and only give the owner 50 cents. Remember, the owner has to pay the insurance and the bill for all of the cleaning and the charging and the actual vehicle itself, which he says will cost $30,000. The only way this business model works is, oh wait, he said that too. You need to own an entire fleet of them.
And like a sort of manage, 10, 20 cars, and just sort of take care of them like a shepherd tends their flock. You have a little your flock of cars, and you're the shepherd, and you take care of your flock of cars.
That's the only way this works, massive scale. And of course, then you have to employ a bunch of people at minimum wage doing extremely difficult cleaning jobs to make sure all the vehicles are clean and charged and maintained and whatever else needs done.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
I'm not saying it can't work, but it doesn't work without people working, and that work costs money. So somebody's going to get screwed. What are your thoughts? Join Patreon or become a YouTube member for early access to videos. Eviscerate me down in the comments. I don't care. Remember, this is not my opinion. It's just my gut reaction. A human being with a camera and a microphone and a finance degree to this commercial. Comment below. Subscribe for more. We'll see you on the next one.
Hey! Smash the like button!
Thank you.
What happens if it breaks the glass, running it into the piece of metal that serves the liquid? What happens when the keg kicks? What happens when it needs to be recharged? Can it actually pour liquid? How accurate is the pour?
How much is Tesla stock up after hours? Isn't that the real question?